Hi, I'm Chris Minnick, and welcome to Wine and Code. This is the code segment of this week's episode. And today I'm going to be talking about cheap code. If you haven't seen the companion video to this and you're interested, you can click right up there to go and watch Cheap Wine. So finding good contract programmers is difficult. US programmers typically charge anywhere from, let's say, $60 an hour to $200 an hour. And most of the good ones are booked solid for months. On freelance sites like Elance or Odesk or freelancer.com, you can find developers for as cheap as $5 an hour who claim to have the skills that you need, the very skills you need. So is this a good deal? What should you look for when you're looking for a programmer to work on a project, but you can't afford US prices or you just can't find someone in the US? So I've had both good and bad experiences with contract developers and offshore developers. And I've worked with programmers in the US, Canada, as well as India, Romania, Pakistan, China, Serbia, Russia, and Bolivia. Before you start looking for developers, write up a detailed specification. That's probably the most important thing that you can do. And you want to do the graphic design work in-house. It's very important that you do the graphics and the user interface design in-house. Those are the parts that are most difficult to outsource. So when you're looking for programmers, you might go to one of these sites like Elance or Odesk or freelancer.com and read as many reviews from their previous clients as you can. Look for projects, sample projects that are similar to what you want. You know, the skills don't always overlap, and there might be, some shops that are really good at certain things but very bad at other things. So look for things that are similar to what you want. And then compile a list of the contractors who meet your criteria, who look the most appealing to you, and send them requests for quotes. Don't worry too much about where they're from. I've had good experiences with developers from everywhere. And you're gonna find that most people who are doing this kind of contract development speak some English. And, it's pretty impressive. But what you really want is for them to speak code and to do it very, very well. And so most often you'll get these quotes back, and after you send off requests for quotes, you'll get some quotes back that'll be fixed price. And that's good for you. But you should be prepared for cost overruns. Typically these things will cost 50% more or twice as much as what the initial bid was. And that's just what's going to happen, because you're going to have changes, they're going to encounter problems, there's going to be difficulties, there's going to be setbacks, and either you're going to take a lot more time on the project, or it's going to cost you more money, or the quality is going to suffer. It's the old triangle: time, quality, cost. You can't have all three. You can have two. So you get some quotes that are really low, like $200, $300, and then you'll get some quotes that are, way more than you anticipated spending. Toss out both. Toss out the low ones, the super low ones, toss out the super expensive ones. Pick from somewhere in the middle range. And then, you want to get the project started fast. If you have a long delay between when you get the quote and when you actually start the project, your project is going to be ignored. Or it's just going to get a lot less attention than you would have if you had started right away. Be ready to go. Don't ask me why I know this, but I know this. So be prepared to spend a lot of time on communicating, emailing, and Skyping. You want to talk with your contractors directly, and you're going to have to do it at weird hours. You might have to wake up early in the morning or stay up very late at night to talk with your developers, but it's worth it to develop that relationship and actually communicate with them on a regular basis. On some projects, I communicated with my developers every single night. Midnight, I would be on the Skype with my developers, talking about what needed to be done, how things were going, what What were the hang-ups? What could I do to make them move faster? Not to make them move faster, but to move the project along faster. The more involved you are, the better your project is going to turn out. So ask to see progress very early on in the project. You want to see something within the first week of them starting on the programming. If it doesn't look right, say something. Say something immediately. Don't assume that they're going to fix it later on and know that this is how it's supposed to be, but they're just kind of roughing it out. No, you want to mention right then when you see that things aren't right, you want to mention that things aren't right, and you want to get it back on track with very specific instructions. Otherwise, you're going to go way off track, and you're going to run into big problems, and the project's going to fail. You need to be very involved if you're working with offshore developers. So, just remember that you're the subject matter expert. If something isn't looking right, bring it up. So in the end, a $10 an hour programmer is probably likely to spend 2 to 3 times as long as a $50 per hour programmer on the same project. And it's going to require twice as much input and attention from you. But if you have a well-defined and well-designed project, going with the offshore developers can save a significant amount of money. And you can always find some that are available. So it's up to you. Do your homework, do a lot of research, do a lot of planning, do the graphics in-house, communicate, be on Skype with them every day if necessary, point out problems as they arise, and it's up to you really how well the project turns out. Thank you. If you like this episode, if you want to see more Wine and Code, please subscribe, like, comment, share, and I hope to see you next week with another episode of Wine and Code. Thank you very much.